Hi everyone. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how I used a few different programs to create a storyboard for a video game to meet the requirements for this activity. So what I did first is I decided to map out all the different options that were available to me and to the player. And I think this is a really important step. I actually used a program called OneNote because it allowed me to move around the text very easily and to draw the arrows very easily. But any program that allows you to create some sort of tree diagram for all the options will do. And I've just copied and pasted that diagram into PowerPoint just as a frame of reference, so I could refer to it constantly. And I think it's important to note that the chain of events you see here are not word for word the same as what I have in the storyboard. I did this as a reference so I could understand where I plan to go. Notice too that I have two major divisions here and then two major endings here. And while you can add many more options if you choose, the more options you provide, the more slides you will need to develop. Okay, so I think you want to balance that out a little bit. I wanted to keep it at a minimum to give two major story arcs and two major endings to this series of events. As for the slides themselves, I just found images that had to do with the French Revolution that I felt I could use, and most of them I've actually zoomed in on considerably. So this is a still from a much bigger painting. This is actually a still from a video game, this famous painting, and I've just used the crop feature of PowerPoint to edit the images down and then resize them. I just have a standard box here that I've created using shapes, so I'd always have that as a frame for my thinking, right? Because the thing we want to think in terms of frames for our work here. I've also added these hands to give the storyboard that first person view, and again that's not necessary, but it kind of helped me think about how I wanted what I want these scenes to look like. And all I did there is I found a picture of two hands. I think I just typed in first person shooter or first person hands into Google, got this image, and if you click on an image in PowerPoint, and if you go to format and remove background, you can actually remove the background from that image, and PowerPoint can now actually detect a lot of the background and just remove it for you. And I did that, and then I just simply copied that image and then flipped that image and then put them in a group, and now I have a set of hands that I could add anywhere. Now to get these story arcs and these options, instead of having the user go through the typical mouse click option on PowerPoint slides, I added links to these options at the bottom. So these are basically my decision trees. So you have a choice here, and you'll notice too that just to show you what this looks like, if I go to edit hyperlink, you'll see that what I did is I actually chose from the hyperlink option menu place in this document instead of existing or web page, which is what we usually would link to if you're linking, say, to a YouTube video or something like that. And I hit place in this document, and then I chose the right slide. So even though I had my tree done here, I did this very late in the game, these links, just because I wanted all the slides in the right place, and that way I wouldn't have to worry about moving them back and forth. And so I just have these options all the way through. Places where there is no option, it's just a button to the next page. But basically I've created all these slides that feature all the options and all the story endings. So that's essentially how I built this. What I'd like you to try and do now is actually go through the PowerPoint itself and see how this interactive storyboard works.